Imagine for a moment that you've just discovered a mysterious key, one that promises to unlock answers to life's most profound questions. Why are we here? What awaits us after death? What is the true nature of reality? What if I told you that this key lies within an ancient text, a Gnostic manuscript that has been obscured and suppressed for centuries? This remarkable document, known as the Tripartite Tractate, offers insights that could fundamentally alter your understanding of existence itself. Prepare to embark on a journey that could challenge everything you thought you knew about salvation, spirituality, and the essence of being. Gnosticism, a spiritual tradition dating back to the early centuries of Christianity, dares to present a radically different view of salvation. Contrary to the dogma of organized religion, which often emphasizes adherence to rituals and doctrines as the path to salvation, Gnosticism asserts that true liberation comes from within. It invites us to explore the depths of our own souls, revealing that salvation is not a distant goal to be achieved through rigid rules, but rather a personal journey of self-discovery. Imagine the impact of realizing that the answers you seek are not found in external authority, but within your own divine spark. For centuries, the early church perceived these ideas as a direct threat. They worried that if individuals began to think for themselves and embrace their innate potential, the power of institutional religion would be undermined. The church's mission was clear: to maintain control over the spiritual landscape, insisting that salvation could only be accessed through its teachings and practices. As we delve deeper into the Gnostic perspective, we uncover a wealth of knowledge that has long been hidden, waiting for the right moment to emerge and resonate with seekers of truth. The Tripartite Tractate introduces us to a profound understanding of duality, a central theme in Gnostic thought. Imagine the universe as a grand chessboard, with two opposing forces in perpetual conflict. On one side, you have the forces of light, which symbolize knowledge, spiritual awakening, and freedom. On the opposite side, the forces of darkness represent ignorance, materialism, and control. The Gnostics propose that the majority of humanity unknowingly resides on the dark side of this board, ensnared in a physical world that acts as a prison, ruled by powerful beings known as archons. These archons manipulate us, keeping us chained to superficial desires and blinding us to our true spiritual potential. But what if we could break free from these chains? The Tripartite Tractate provides a framework for understanding the complexity of our existence by dividing reality into three distinct realms: the left, the right, and the center. The left realm is associated with matter and darkness, a domain dominated by archons who perpetuate fear and deception. In contrast, the right realm represents the domain of mind and understanding, a place where individuals begin to awaken, question their reality, and seek deeper truths. Finally, the center embodies the spirit, representing the essence of who we truly are, transcending physical and mental limitations. In moments of despair or confusion, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and lost. However, having a deeper understanding of these concepts can provide clarity and guidance, acting as a beacon of hope. The Gnostic teachings, particularly those reflected in the Tripartite Tractate, can illuminate our path, offering insights that resonate even in today's chaotic world. And speaking of clarity and guidance, if you want to attract huge money effortlessly, starting today, there's something you need to check out right now. In the comments below, you'll find a link that reveals shocking wealth secrets from a rogue NASA scientist. This is a rare opportunity. You won't want to miss this. Now, let's get back into our exploration. As we continue this exploration, it's essential to recognize that Gnosticism's core message is not merely theoretical, it's practical and transformative. Gnostics believe that each person carries a divine spark within, a piece of the true God that, when realized, leads to liberation from the illusions of the material world. This idea challenges the traditional religious narrative that portrays salvation as something to be earned through external compliance. Instead, the Gnostic perspective invites us to look within, to realize our intrinsic divinity and the connection we share with the universe. Historically, Gnostic beliefs were met with fierce resistance. By the 2nd century AD, the early church had labeled Gnosticism a heresy, dismissing its teachings as dangerous and blasphemous. In 367 AD, Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria issued a decree aimed at destroying all non-canonical texts, specifically targeting Gnostic writings. This marked the beginning of a systematic effort to suppress alternative spiritual viewpoints and maintain control over the narrative of salvation. Yet, despite these efforts, the essence of Gnostic thought endured. Hidden away in the sands of time, these teachings found refuge in remote locations, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The discovery of the Nag Hammadi Library in Egypt in 1945 proved to be a pivotal moment in our understanding of Gnosticism. This collection of 13 ancient Gnostic codices unveiled a treasure trove of lost knowledge, illuminating ideas about duality, salvation, and the hidden nature of reality. These texts challenge us to look beyond the surface and recognize the hidden forces at play in our lives. They teach us that true freedom does not stem from external authorities, but is found within ourselves. The Gnostic worldview is not just about analyzing ancient scriptures. It's about awakening to a new way of perceiving our existence and understanding our place in the cosmos. Within this framework, humanity is divided into 3 categories: the material, the intellectual, and the spiritual. The material-focused individuals find themselves trapped in the pursuit of physical pleasures and worldly desires, oblivious to the deeper truths of existence. Intellectuals, while more aware, remain limited by their thoughts and concepts, unable to see beyond the confines of their minds. Conversely, spiritual seekers, the ones striving for gnosis, are those who endeavor to awaken to their true nature and reconnect with the divine source. For the Gnostics, the darkness represents the material world where most people exist in a state of slumber, unaware of their divine origins. The light, in contrast, symbolizes gnosis, the understanding that beneath the distractions and illusions of life, we are part of something vast and eternal. Gnostic teachings imply that salvation does not entail escaping to a distant paradise or evading punishment. Instead, it involves acknowledging our inherent connection to the divine source that pervades all existence. One of the most intriguing concepts presented in Gnostic texts is the idea of the elect or chosen ones. However, this notion differs significantly from conventional interpretations, which often view the chosen as a privileged group set apart by divine favor. In Gnostic teachings, being chosen does not imply superiority, elitism, or an inherent worthiness over others. Instead, it signifies the potential for spiritual awakening. It's not about being better than others, but rather about having the capacity to recognize deeper truths and transcend the illusions of the material world. Imagine being handed a detailed map while navigating a vast, complex maze, where most people wander aimlessly, lost in confusion. Those who are chosen possess this map, an inner knowing or intuition that guides them toward enlightenment, helping them see beyond the distractions and false promises of the physical world. However, simply having the map is not enough. It remains up to each individual to interpret the path, take the steps, and embark on their personal journey toward spiritual realization. The potential for awakening is there for anyone who is willing to seek it, but the journey itself requires effort, introspection, and the courage to follow through. This path to salvation is not without its challenges. It requires a willingness to question everything you have been taught and a courage to look beyond the surface. Confronting the archons, those mental and emotional barriers that confine us, requires recognizing that they hold no real power over us. The Gnostics referred to this profound realization as the pleroma, or fullness of being. It represents an awakening to the interconnectedness of all things and recognizing our place within the greater cosmic tapestry. In a society that constantly urges us to seek validation and fulfillment outside ourselves, the Gnostic perspective is revolutionary. It encourages us to turn inward, exploring the infinite universe that resides within each of us. The material world, with its divisions and conflicts, is merely a shadow of a more significant reality, one where all things are united in harmony. The Gnostic narrative weaves this concept of unity throughout its teachings. They believe that at the very beginning, there existed only the One, an incomprehensible source of pure light and consciousness. From this source emerged all things, much like rays of light emanating from the sun. However, as these emanations moved further away from their origin, they began to forget their true nature, becoming trapped in the physical realm and its illusions. Each soul carries a fragment of this divine light within, yet most remain unaware of it, identifying only with their physical forms and worldly identities. This forgetfulness leads to feelings of isolation and separation. The journey towards enlightenment, therefore, is about remembering our true essence and reestablishing our connection with the divine source. It is a quest for reunification, a collective return to the state of unity and perfection that is our birthright. In this context, the role of the Christ becomes clear, not as a distant Savior who redeems us from sin, but as a guiding light, illuminating the path back to the source. The Christ embodies the divine spark within each of us, calling us to awaken and recognize our profound connection to all that exists. In a world that often feels fragmented and chaotic, this concept of unity offers hope and healing. It reminds us that we are not isolated individuals, but integral threads woven into the intricate tapestry of existence. As we navigate the complexities of life, it's easy to feel lost and powerless. Gnostic teachings remind us that our struggles, both internal and external, often stem from a collective forgetfulness of who we truly are. When we become ensnared in the noise of everyday life, fears, judgments, and conflicts, we risk losing sight of the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. However, Gnostic wisdom invites us to look beyond these illusions and uncover a more profound reality. We are not separate beings fighting against an indifferent universe. We are the universe itself, experiencing life through myriad forms. The ancient Gnostics understood that realizing our interconnectedness could transform not only individuals but entire societies. This message is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago, perhaps even more so in an age where divisions and misunderstandings are rampant. Recognizing our shared essence is a powerful act of rebellion against the forces that seek to divide us. You don't have to accept these ideas blindly or reject them outright. Instead, let them serve as a lens through which to explore your own inner truths. The journey toward understanding is not solely about finding answers. It's about daring to ask the right questions. Throughout history, organized religion has wielded significant power, shaping societies and dictating moral codes. The Gnostics believed that many religious institutions were designed not to enlighten but to obscure the truth. The early Christian church, in particular, established strict doctrines, labeling Gnostic ideas as heretical. Why? Because these concepts encouraged individuals to seek divine truth within themselves rather than relying on external authorities. A pivotal moment in this conflict occurred in 367 AD when Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria issued a letter known as the Festal Letter. This document outlined the 27 books of the New Testament and condemned all other writings, including Gnostic texts, as misleading and dangerous. This marked the beginning of a systematic effort to suppress alternative spiritual viewpoints. Many Gnostic writings were destroyed, and their followers faced persecution. It wasn't until centuries later, with the discovery of the Nag Hammadi library, that these texts resurfaced, offering invaluable insights into Gnostic beliefs. The Gnostic perspective on salvation starkly contrasts the Church's teachings. Gnostics maintain that true salvation comes through personal spiritual knowledge or gnosis, rather than through adherence to religious sacraments and dogma. They believe that every individual has the potential to experience the divine directly, without the need for intermediaries. This view challenged the very foundation of the Church's authority, undermining the narrative that God is a distant, judgmental figure. Instead, the Gnostics portrayed God as an all-encompassing source of love and creation. They argued that every person carries a spark of the divine within, and that this inner light is the key to understanding our true nature and purpose. By focusing on external rituals and dogmas, organized religion distracts individuals from this vital inner journey. As we conclude this exploration of Gnostic wisdom, it's essential to remember that the greatest secrets are not concealed in distant lands or ancient texts. They reside within each of us, waiting for us to notice and explore. The path to understanding is not merely about discovering answers. It's about cultivating the courage to ask profound questions and embarking on a quest for personal truth. In a world that often feels divided and chaotic, embracing the Gnostic perspective can transform not just our personal lives, but the broader landscape of society. It calls us to recognize our interconnectedness, to awaken to our divine potential, and to seek unity in a world that desperately needs it. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of Gnostic wisdom. If you found value in this exploration, consider subscribing to our channel for more content that challenges your thinking and invites you to discover the depths of your own truth. Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, and remember that the key to your salvation lies within.